The producers of a holiday classic had to call in a secret agent to ensure the star didn't have a total mental breakdown from his prosthetics. From mutants to aliens to fantastical creatures, these movie costumes put the actors who wore them in some real distress. In 2011's X-Men First Class, Jennifer Lawrence took over the role of Mystique, which had previously been played by Rebecca Romijn. Lawrence knew that transforming into the blue-skinned, shape-shifting mutant would be an arduous process, but she didn't realize that it would literally make her sick. Things got so bad that a specialist was brought in to treat Lawrence, as the body paint and latex reportedly caused rashes and boils on her skin. Producers eventually found ways around the problem, designing a special bodysuit for the sequels, which helped convince Lawrence to return 3 more times. Her predecessor had some issues as well, though they weren't quite as bad. As Romijn revealed to Yahoo in 2016, "When we finally wrapped, someone brought out tequila shots to celebrate. I did a shot and immediately vomited blue." It may be one of the most beloved movies of all time, but The Wizard of Oz was also an infamously troubled production. 2 actors became seriously sick from their makeup and costumes, and they were both playing the same role, the Tin Man. Buddy Ebsen was originally cast for the part, but after testing his makeup, he was hospitalized for lung failure and had to be placed in an oxygen tent. It was later discovered that the aluminium dust used to paint him silver caused an allergic reaction, or possibly a lung infection. Changes were made when Jack Haley stepped into the role, but they weren't enough to prevent him from getting an eye infection from the new paint formula. Thankfully, his treatment didn't require a hospital stay, nor did it cause any serious damage, and he was able to begin shooting on time.
The tinsmith forgot to give me a heart.
One of the most well-documented cases of latex and prosthetics gone awry is that of Stellan Skarsgård as the monstrous Bootstrap Bill in Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. Skarsgård had to be covered in all manner of barnacles for the role. Rather than use motion capture and CGI, the filmmakers went practical without realizing the devastating effect it would have on Skarsgård's skin. Like many actors who have worked under heavy appliances, Skarsgård spent hours in the makeup chair, getting into and out of character. But that wasn't the worst part. As he recalled to MovieWeb, "We couldn't shoot more than 3 days straight because I would get rashes. The rough thing wasn't having it on. It was taking it off. It was new material every day. And that meant a new rash every day too." For Arnold Schwarzenegger's performance as a villainous Mr. Freeze in 1997's Batman and Robin, the filmmakers took a rather clownish approach. The result was a garish, shiny silver armored suit, complete with light and sound. It turned the superstar into a walking, talking action figure, but it also posed serious risks to his health. As chronicled by The Hollywood Reporter, the glowing elements in Mr. Freeze's suit included LED lights all around Schwarzenegger's mouth and chin. This had the unintended side effect of nearly poisoning the actor. As makeup artist Jeff Dawn recalled, "When you put it in Arnold's mouth, Arnold's saliva would creep into the seams of this thing and attack the batteries. The batteries would immediately start disintegrating and start putting out battery acid into Arnold's mouth." Schwarzenegger wasn't sure what was actually happening when he tasted the acid. Thankfully, Dawn was able to correct the problem before it caused any major medical issues.
Winter has come at last.
For the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the entire cast and crew were flown out to New Zealand for more than a year. It wasn't all sunshine and rainbows though, especially not for John Rhys-Davies, who played Dwarf Warrior Gimli. Visual trickery was employed to make him appear smaller than his co-stars, but practical makeup effects were also used for the full transformation. His costume was convincing, but also a little sickening. Rhys-Davies was able to survive the grueling 15-month shoot, but not without the prosthetics causing a severe allergic reaction. When Empire asked him in 2009 if he would ever reprise the role, he replied, "I've already been asked, and to be honest with you, I wouldn't. I have already completely ruled it out. There's a sentimental part of me that would love to be involved again. Really, I am not sure my face can take that sort of punishment anymore." The 2000 adaptation of How the Grinch Stole Christmas features some truly remarkable makeup effects. Crafted by Rick Baker, who won an Academy Award for his efforts, the full-body costume and heavy prosthetics turned Jim Carrey into the spitting image of Dr. Seuss's lime green creation. Alas, it also resulted in some scary mental consequences. Carrey was rather famously unable to cope with the strain of being covered head to toe in rubber and latex. with appliances over every inch of his face and painful contact lenses in his eyes. It was so bad that the studio was forced to bring in outside help to manage the actor's stress. Bizarrely enough, the guy that they turned to was an old friend of producer Brian Grazer's, who worked for the Central Intelligence Agency. As Grazer recalled in his book, A Serious Mind, one of the CIA people I'd talked to years before specialized in training US agents to survive torture if they were captured. We had an actor being held prisoner by his costume. He was being tortured by his makeup. Ultimately, the CIA training worked, and Carey was able to deliver an unforgettable performance.
I did the makeup 100 times.
Good noise.
And you know what?
Very good noise.
You know what got me through it? The Bee Gees.
When Star Trek brought the Borg to the big screen in 1996's First Contact, the cheap plastic costumes from TV were out in favor of a bold new look. As the Borg Queen, Alice Krige sported a skin-tight rubber jumpsuit and extensive makeup and prosthetics, which led to some serious discomfort. As Krige recalled during a 2022 convention appearance, it took hours to get her into the extremely tight bodysuit and make it look just right, as it was glued directly to her skin. And it wasn't exactly a picnic when she had to use the bathroom during filming, as removing the suit was no easy feat. The crew had to literally cut it off of her, only to discover that being bound into the costume all day had swollen her body to such a degree that getting it back on to continue filming wasn't possible. Believe it or not, that's Jessica Chastain under all that makeup, as televangelist Tammy Faye Bakker in 2021's The Eyes of Tammy Faye. The heavy makeup and prosthetics changed the entire shape of her face and nose. Alas, while those prosthetics helped her win an Oscar, they also left her with permanent physical damage. During an interview with the Los Angeles Times, Chastain revealed that the makeup and appliances were extremely heavy and ruined her skin, which she normally takes great pains to keep healthy. As she explained, when you're wearing it all day, every day, the weight of it on your body, it stretches your skin out. I finally took it off and I was like, I look 50 years old. I think for sure I've done some permanent damage to my skin on this. It's easy to understand how the more fantastical movie costumes can cause health problems, but in at least one case, it was a rather ordinary outfit that caused an actor to fall ill. It's happened during the production of the 2012 version of Les Miserables, which took place in the early 19th century and featured period-appropriate outfits. Alas, for Amanda Seyfried, who played Cosette, that meant that she was forced to seek treatment for potentially serious injuries. As she recalled to The Hollywood Reporter, there was a physiotherapist on the set, and my neck had been hurting for 4 days. She put 2 needles in my neck and 2 in my hand. After Seyfried returned to filming shortly thereafter, she became lightheaded and fainted. When she came to, her co-star Russell Crowe was holding her feet, and another co-star, Hugh Jackman, was massaging her neck. While looking back on the moment, Seyfried was eventually able to see the upside, which she made clear during an appearance on Conan.
I'm telling you, I could do that again.
Yeah. I've had that same dream.
In superhero flicks, cumbersome costumes are pretty much par for the course, but just because they're commonplace, that doesn't mean they're easy to handle. And Don Cheadle learned that the hard way while making 2013's Iron Man 3. Cheadle had already previously suited up as War Machine in Iron Man 2, but that didn't fully prepare him for what the Iron Patriot costume had in store. While sporting armor and a helmet that often completely covered his face and head, he struggled just to move at all. He also began to suffer serious claustrophobia. As he recalled during an appearance on Live with Kelly and Michael, "It's big, it's heavy, it's constricting. You can't touch your face. Your arms don't articulate all the way."
You feel like a turtle.
Cheadle ultimately had to take medication to deal with the anxiety. Robin Williams played his share of iconic roles, but one that often goes overlooked is a certain spinach-eating sailor in the 1980 live-action adaptation of Popeye. The film wasn't very critically well-received, but it was successful at turning live actors into spitting images of their comic strip counterparts. For Williams, that meant big fake forearms, which led to some understandable problems. Throughout the film, Williams sports his usual smile, and he pairs it with Popeye's distinctive one-eyed squint. The character's often upbeat demeanor hid a secret truth, as those big prosthetic arms were causing Williams constant discomfort. Ironically, the arms were actually replacements developed and sculpted by special effects artist Andrea Felice. The original versions didn't look natural at all, and were too heavy and stiff to move around convincingly. Alas, part of making them convincing meant making them tight around Williams' own arms, which cut off his circulation. Scarlett Johansson made her MCU debut as the lead secret agent Black Widow in 2010's Iron Man 2. 2 years later, she returned for the Avengers and got a new outfit for the occasion. The only problem was that the updated gear was so tight and made of such thick, heavy leather that Johansson required medical attention. During filming of a scene set on a New York rooftop, the heat on set combined with the full leather getup to create some real problems for Johansson. It got so bad that she experienced hallucinations. Overheated and having trouble discerning reality, it appeared that she was suffering the telltale signs of a heat stroke. But Johansson took it all in stride, as she was eventually able to joke about how much sweat she accumulated in the outfit during the shoot. As she admitted to ABC News, "It was so hot, I would wring out my socks at the end of the day." Johnny Depp has worn all sorts of wild costumes through his career, from a pirate outfit to Native American garb to the Mad Hatter's whole getup. One of his earliest and most notable costumes happened all the way back in 1990, when he teamed with director Tim Burton for the first time to play the title role in Edward Scissorhands. Clad head to toe in heavy leather, Depp suffered from, perhaps predictably, a case of overheating. Determined to get through the shoot without help, Depp refused the aid of special cooling agents. Though he was able to manage the stress of his costume for most of the shoot, he did have one health scare during a particularly arduous moment. As his co-star Diane Wiest recalled, "One night, Johnny had to do a running sequence, running away from the house, I think at Christmas, and he passed out. He fell down and we thought, well, is he acting? What's he doing? And had passed out from the heat of the suit."